welcome to this special edition of Young Turks only on cnbc TV 18. I'm your host Nithya Balakrishnan, and my guests on today's show need absolutely no introduction. The first, of course, is a Bollywood and Tollywood star, better known for his role in Baahubali, Rana Daggubati in a different avatar. And the next, of course, Prasad Vanga, CEO and founder of Anthill Ventures, one of the leading venture capitalists in the country. And let's get straight to the conversation with the two of them. Rana, let me begin by asking you, everybody knows you as the movie star,
right.
But when exactly did you become an investor and why?
I've been working in the movies for a very long time. I've been working for about 14 years now. And I started working with technology. I started doing visual effects, and that's my first job in movies. I ran a visual effects company for about 6 or 7 years, then sold that company to Prime Focus. And then after that, I was with gaming for some time. Then I was doing production, and then I started acting in the movies. So it's just the stuff that you all don't know. That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We see you in front of the screen, but there's been a...
So obviously that's something that you see and you know more about.
Absolutely, but why Anthill Studio and why now? Because, you know...
Why now? See, one is, we're in the storytelling business. We're in the business of telling stories. We want to find the best ways to tell our stories. We want to find different ways to tell our stories. Now, historically, when we go back, it was the camera and the techniques that the camera offered, and the technology that came through that was the way we made our special effects, or the way we did maskings, or how the first form of cinema kind of evolved. And as time went by, when the computer era kind of came in, when design and special effects came in, visual effects became a very, very big part of how we tell our stories. Now, today we're now moving into, there's so much convergence happening in terms of telecom coming into the entertainment businesses. I'm saying, so everything is kind of merged, it's not the classic cinema theater anymore. Classic cinema theater has moved more into an experience zone, so more spectacle cinema is being made there. And now with things like VR and AR, they're completely different forms of telling stories. We've been doing it as parts earlier, like there was visual effects earlier, then we invested in a gaming company, then we came back. We've been doing things up and down, but there was no fixed or a focused division which kind of was running it. So then with Prasad's help at Anthill and us, I think we got together to handpick the companies that are required first for the movie industry itself. Now, if you see most accelerators, a variety of portfolio, there's a wide portfolio, there will be many, many companies coming in. Here, we had probably over 150 people who applied for this program, and we picked about 7. So we wanted to be very sure that we can take these startups to the next level. Now, we've been 3 or 4 weeks in the working, and we've already got companies that have that were at zero revenue, or that just had the product ready. We kind of got them into straight market access. We've been able to help them scale, and see, really scaling with speed is what Anthill Studio is all about. And that's what really startups need. You need to work on live things.
Absolutely. Prasad, before I ask you why Rana partnering you in this venture, if I can talk to you about what exactly are you looking for in terms of the disruptors that you've picked out, right? Close to 7. What were you looking out for out of the 150 who applied to be part of, this funding series?
Do they have a scalable technology and a product? Does it have a fantastic entrepreneur who would be able to scale it with speed? Right? I think these are two very, very important characteristics of evaluation. But I think the most important part is the entrepreneur. And the idea or the product that the entrepreneur has built. And for us, it is important to see, can we add any value to the product? I'm sure we've missed out some amazing companies out there out of the 150 applications. But maybe we decided that, listen, this could be a great product, but maybe we can't add value. Right? And why we picked Rana?
Why partner with Rana?
Because he's Baahubali, that's why. No, I think it was very clear when we were looking at an anchor partner for this industry vertical. Suresh and Rana and Suresh Productions came out on the top of the list for us, because it's not a large company, so we can move faster. At the same time, they have experience of every part of the filmmaking and the distribution as well. But when we start this program, we don't want to restrict this venture for this partnership. We said we should onboard and make this an open platform, So let's go to Viacom 18, let's go to Sony Entertainment, let's go to Alt Balaji, ZTV. Everybody are partners in the program.
Nice.
And that's the beauty of the program. So they come with use cases, they meet the startups, they pick places where they can work together, and that allows the technology companies to scale up much faster.
Fantastic. Now, looking back, Rana, what would you think were the biggest technology disruptors in the media and entertainment space? Because now, before I even go to distribution, just when you talk about the movie watching experience or, cinema.
The building you're sitting in right now, it used to be a film laboratory, and it disappeared.
Right.
This exact building used to be a film laboratory, which used to be about 20,000 prints a year, and that's a film we watched. And this is not that long ago. This is about 5 years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah, and all that film disappeared, and the digital era just came in, and it just swapped everything.
Absolutely.
So it swapped the way we make the film, it swapped the way people watch a film, swapped the way the film is projected. So it broke the entire chain in one go. So the second was when the telecom companies moved into the entertainment. When the phone became the smartphone, that changed a lot of it because, and that change actually came with great opportunity. The consumption of people got extremely high. So that kind of blew us all away. I mean, as studios, as content makers, see that's the skill set. We just have to make it for another platform right now. And it's given a lot of creative people much more convenience. Writers love writing for the web more than cinema, because in cinema somewhere you have a 2.5 hour window where you have to stop your story. And this disruption of telecom and films started making us understand now there is different films that we make for the theater, there's different films that we make for the web. So we just have different kinds of storytelling, but it's still, the fundamental still remains the same.
Well, if I can have both of you jump in on the kind of quality of talent that's available in India. You said we are, a couple of years behind the West when it comes to filmmaking.
Yeah.
But do you think India has potential? The talent is here, and now with something like Anthill Studios actually partnering them, it's going to go up.
Talent is always there. It's just that it needs to be nurtured. Now I'm saying if you take the University of Southern California, or if you take the American Film Institute, there'll be 50 top cinematographers coming out every year, or 100 top cinematographers, top in the world. I'm not talking about top in this country. So we still don't have those ecosystems. We are building those ecosystems by ourselves.
The second part is to be able to get startups to do product companies. I mean, you've seen that in India, I think there are two primary problems. We cannot wait until the product is built and there's a product life cycle and management of the whole process that actually goes there and delivers the product to the customer. There is a time gap there which needs to be funded.
Sure.
And the Western counterparts do that very well. In India, we try to turn that into a services business in between, because we suddenly struggle with cash flow. And the investor says, oh, show me the money, right? And what happens then? Then you suddenly stop building an amazing product, and then you've moved yourself and pivoted into a services company. Your pricing models are all over the place. You go to the market with the wrong type of offering, and then you're done. And then somebody else comes in from some other country and says, look, I have an amazing product, right? So I think this is where the talent is missing. We need to have talent in building solid product companies.
So if I can broaden the spectrum right now and ask you from Anthill Ventures, when you're talking about the Indian startup ecosystem, 2015, 2016, much better years maybe, because what we're seeing now is the exits not really taking place in the startup ecosystem. And does that worry you about the maturity of the Indian entrepreneur in that sense?
Did Flipkart happen?
Fair enough.
So it's what I feel about this ecosystem is that it's very early. Exits are happening in secondaries, okay, for investors who are coming in early. They are seeing exits now. Also, the behavior that needs to change is with the larger Indian corporates who don't buy companies, who don't value companies at the same way that the Western counterparts do. Because every time there is a startup that builds an amazing technology, the larger corporate will say, oh, I can do that myself, right?
Yeah,
rather than buying them
absolutely.
out. So I think that's a behavioral change that needs to happen as well.
Fair enough. Now, one of the interesting startups that you've actually pitched this time around is Comic Flix, which it says will convert a lot of your movies and videos to stunning, graphic novels.
Yes.
Talk to us about this particular idea, why it appealed to you.
Now, usually what we always try to look is when we create a story, it's not just for a film. We make a story, we make an intellectual property. And we want that story to move transmedia. We want different things to come out of it. So to me, comics has always been a large part of how we grew up. I mean, if you see our racks, it's just filled with comics. And I'm also a part of the Amar Chitrakatha company. So, so that's always been a part with us in many ways. And the minute I saw comic flicks and that technology, how it did things so fast, to me there was an opportunity of movie merchandising, there was an opportunity of movie marketing, there's an opportunity of building a community of comic itself through cinema, which I think I can't put a price on right now, which I think is going to be a huge company. And I'm a comic fan. I mean, and that's a great way of retaining or telling a story to anybody.
Absolutely. Let's talk numbers, Prasad, and tell me what kind of investment has gone into Anthill Studio, you know, a ballpark that you can give me, and what exactly will these 7 startups be in for now that you're partnering with them?
So Anthill, as a part of the overall company, we're raising a $100 million fund right now. We just got our SEBI approval in India. So the first tranche is going to be about 25 million, and it is spread across 4 sectors. So Anthill Studio is one of them, media and entertainment, but we have urban life, fintech, and health and food innovation. Right? These are the 4 sectors.
Nice.
So the deployment schedule is going to be based on how the startups perform.
Sure.
Right? We believe that we create a platform for these folks to scale up very quickly by providing the use cases and mentorship. And the guys who are going to make it, who have the grit and, you know, the persuasion to make this bigger, will get more capital from us. Okay, and that capital could be up to $1 million into each of them.
So if I can again bring Rana back into the discussion, how do you think regional cinema and regional entertainment will benefit from the various technology disruptors you're talking about?
See, now today we watch a show called Narcos on Netflix. Now it's a Spanish show. None of us speak that language. But it was produced by a French company. Very few people know that.
Absolutely.
So now language has become no bar anymore. It's really the skill set. So if Bahubali was made, now it's a Telugu regional film that's actually there. But it's also a manga comic today in Japan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'm saying there's a direction that we are going where possibilities are kind of endless. Many years ago, we wouldn't have dreamt of making a submarine-based film in Telugu, which will release across the country. So it's getting more and more collaborative. See, earlier studios used to be working individually by themselves or producers by themselves. Now you start realizing that you need to be a unit. Many things. If you see the Disneys and the big ones in the world, they're all consolidating with bigger and bigger numbers.
Absolutely.
So I guess that's the way we'll keep going forward.
All right, and one final question to you, Prasad. What technology do you think will be key focus areas for various startups working in the media and entertainment space? And how long are you, planning Anthill Studios to pretty much run? Are you going to do this kind of application-driven shortlisting process every few years? How's it going to work?
It's a program that we decided to keep it open. It's not like a program that will start now and end at a certain time. So we said, let's keep the program open for a year and then let applications keep coming in. I mean, right now we had 150 applications from 11 countries. We picked 7 that we were comfortable with scaling up, and it'll be open. Okay, so that's one part of the story, because we are not a classroom training accelerator. We are a use case based accelerator on the street. Yeah. We want them to make business, we want them to make money, we want them to scale fast, right? And that's the reason. And for me, the studio, Anthill Studio, is a media and entertainment tech disruptor of sorts. So we will continue to look for technologies across the world, and we will keep investing in those companies that are going to change the paradigm for media and entertainment.
All right, and Rana, one final question to you. Do you have a favorite amongst the 7 you've just picked? Which one of them was that idea that you looked at and you said, this is going to become big and I need to be a part of this journey?
It's very, very unique what each of them does. I'm saying if it's comic flicks, I haven't seen that before. If it's somebody called Saranyu that builds OTTs, I haven't seen the pace at which they build that before. If it's newsroom, the way of transferring information, getting out news, getting out your own e-magazines, I haven't seen that before. So each of them have, Scapic has amazing augmented reality skill sets. Woodcutter, great analytics skills. Each one is at a different level in terms of where they are at progression. Some might be faster in terms of where they are. Some are already revenue generating by themselves, even without our help.
Nice.
But I'm saying, so there are different timelines, but all of them together is, and we also, there's a lot of interrelated synergy between all of these companies. So it's not, I can't pick a favorite from these. It's really, I need all of them to work together.
And all guns firing.
Yeah.